known for some time. Something about the world ain't right. The darkness lives in plain sight. In the ether, adjust your eyes. There are those that have no clue. You give them hints, they just stare at you. Most have lived in Plato's cave, watching.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a couple weeks since I've done a show. I have been traveling and went to a country called Panama, and it was definitely worth checking out, but I'm very happy and thankful to be back in the US. I will say that with all the stuff going on in the world. And one of the things going on in the world is following up with Brittany. This is the first show that she's ever done where she's actually live right now. So you might see some comments that I'll bring on the stage, on the screen. She's also showing her face, which I think is good because we need to stare down this evil and help eradicate it. So Brittany, I'm very proud of you for being here today.
Thanks, Joe. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Well, I know that things have been unfolding and trying to cram all this information in for folks that may not be aware of how much corruption there is in this country, in this world, in our courts, etc., is kind of like sometimes explaining the fourth quarter of the Super Bowl or a sports game to someone that's not familiar with the sport. So we're going to do our best, and people can, watch obviously the previous interview that we've done, but I think let's catch people up a little bit that aren't familiar with the case at all, about what's, how this is unfolded for you, why your child was taken away from you, what was the reason for that, and then you've also recently got to see your child, so I think that might be really a positive turn of events to catch people up with. So let's start once again with a little bit of background about how all this came to be, and then we'll go from there. Does that sound good?
Absolutely.
Okay, please go ahead.
So my son was 78 days old when he was taken out of my arms. I was breastfeeding him, actually, and there were 5 to 6 armed deputies, sheriffs that came in and took me and separated my son and I from one another with no warrant, no rights given to me. I explained to them, I begged them actually, don't do this. There's been a mistake. And I was told I would see a magistrate within 24 hours. That never happened. And I was held for 93 days. I was actually taken over the state lines and held for 93 days on a fraudulent charge, which was dismissed. And during that timeline, my son was trafficked by the 3rd District Court in the state of Evanston, Wyoming, which is where I currently have remained while I'm fighting for him, and have not stopped. It's been over 400 days, and the guardianship that was established by the court system in a civil courtroom, which should have been a juvenile courtroom, but because there was no case, there was no abuse case, no crime, no reports of any such thing, they put it in as a civil matter. The problem, Joe, is that there's been no due process from the beginning until now. And I've caught a lot of corruption, documented it very thoroughly as to how things like this can happen to anybody in America. And it is happening to many others just like me, but in different formats.
Right.
all over our country. I have been allowed to see him for 60 minutes. And I was grateful for that opportunity. But the facts are there are no abuse cases, there is no crime, and my son needs to be returned to my arms. So the way the system works, it systematically works together. A lot of people don't understand that, but they will soon. And with us unifying together and showing the mounds of paperwork, filings, recordings, documents, phone conversations of law enforcement, judicial clerks, officials that are supposed to be for the people are in fact working against the people, and they are destroying our God-given rights.
Right.
Right now we're at the Supreme Court. That's where we are right now. And go ahead.
Well, some people might be interested in hearing, if why were you targeted? Is there something either about you or your background or what have you that would make someone want your child over someone else's? Does that make sense?
Sure. So, as a how would I say, as a pro se litigant, I believe very differently, and I have stood up for children in many ways for many years, and I have witnessed, which is what I do believe why I'm here right now, is to share what I've witnessed on behalf of the children. And when you stand up for children in a system that is designed to take children for money, for profit, for control, you become more of a target. And so I believe I was put on a watch list many years ago. I've worked with many abused young people, and I have seen a lot of corruption, and now I've experienced it myself. So that is why I show my face, for no other reason other than somebody's got to be the voice for the children. And I think a lot of people right now in our country are looking around at what's happening to our children in a multitude of ways, saying, how did we get here? How could this happen? And, the facts are, Jesus told us, my people perish for their lack of knowledge. And the language was twisted a long time ago. And that ripples down into our courthouses, in the places where we believe are there to protect us, when all actuality, words and terms like legalese, Black's Law Dictionary book, and for-profit corporations needs to be understood compared to the constitutional common law, that which our country was actually founded on. And we've come a long way from our foundation. And so the results are this, and many more just like me in different ways. And so I believe we're coming to a place now in our country where, we took God out of the schools, we took him out of the church, we took him, out of the judicial. And that's why we have the results that we are seeing today, which is a lot of death, a lot of destruction of the family. And but I believe that we have now rededicated our truth, and we are setting the record straight. And each of us have been placed in, you know, different walks, different opportunities to do just that. And that's all I've done here. So everything that I'm saying, I can back up with receipts. And these children are going to be set free, all of them. That's what I believe.
Yeah, well, I think that's why, you know, I'm glad Amy had reached out and shared your story with me, because I mean, it feels like to us what we're doing, it's so normal to just stand up for children and for family, and yet it's been this weird rarity that just gets, you know, censored and shadow banned or what have you. And so I do see the tide is turning as more and more people are becoming aware of, you know, the hundreds of thousands of children that went missing across the border between the US and Mexico, the 250,000 girls primarily that went, you know, missing or were abused over in Europe. And then, you know, then you have the lead stories are about, you know, the pond, the reflection pool over at, you know, in DC. It's like, what? Let's talk about the kids missing. Let you know, because it's obviously, it was very intentional to take spirituality, God, out of the schools, out of sports. And, you know, we are seeing what I think what's beautiful about the World Cup is we're seeing, even in Seattle, the players praying after the games, the Europeans feeling completely lied to about, you know, our country, and that there is camaraderie here, that there are good people in this country, and there's way more that we have in common with each other than the media you know, portrays. And I think that's a beautiful thing about whether people are into sports or not, and whether things are rigged, or, you know, if God can use sports in some way as a tool to help bring humanity together and awaken and educate people, you know, that's something beautiful about that. So what was it like for you to see your son finally? You said it was about an hour?
Yes, I got to spend 1 hour with him, and the first 10 minutes was you know, a little emotional, challenging. As a mother, it's not so I've thought about that moment day in, day out. I eat, sleep, and breathe this from my hotel room, and I had been praying for that moment from the moment they took him out of my arms. And it definitely didn't go as I would have hoped. And as far as the environment was concerned, with there being a peacekeeper present, and the terminated guardians present, the ones that have obstructed a lot of these proceedings from happening. It was challenging. It was very challenging. But immediately when I had him, within that 10 minutes of, you know, getting through that first initial 10 minutes, it was just heart to heart, and all these documents, everything was just, it was no longer in existence. It was just mother and son holding each other again. And I just reminded him that I'm there, and he's almost home, and it would be over soon, and that God loves him. And you know, a lot of our children right now are confused. They're separated from who God gave them, and it's completely unnatural. And there is no justification, none. And it's got to stop. It's got to stop. And I believe it's coming to that point. Because if we don't save the children, what future do we have? trafficking comes in many different ways.
Great point.
And I have seen children taken from good people and never returned. I've worked with them. I've stood with them. And little did I know it was a preparation for my own experience, and faith is not a theory here. It's not a theory, it's an experience. And I can testify to what I've witnessed, which is they may have taken God out of that courtroom, which I did witness. They may have taken him out of the school, out of the church, but they can't take God out of here. God's actually still here. He never left. And he's flipping it now. And knows that this is good versus evil. All the truth is going to be revealed. And that's what he has shown me.
Right. Yeah. I mean, unless someone realizes, this comes up quite a bit on many different shows, and if they don't realize we're literally in a spiritual battle, they're not going to see things in the way that those of us that are aware of that are. And whether you're looking in the entertainment industry or the way that these laws and mandates have been, thrown around for at least the last 6 years, it's becoming, and I think part of this unveiling, if you will, is people starting to see more and more clearly that there's something very off, there's something very amiss going on in the world, and just allowing all these foreigners into different countries. I even had a conversation with my aunt a little over a year ago. She's living in New Zealand. And I was saying, this is the U.S. is our country, and I haven't spoke with her much about it this year, but they're down in New Zealand where it takes a lot of loopholes you have to jump through in order to go down there and work and become a citizen and all that, and it's separated by a lot of water. But you see the damage that's been done on getting people to just go along with this narrative of allowing everyone into our country the way that they have. And, I think that's part of this process, is now seeing like how the evil has infiltrated the courtrooms and CPS and what have you. So when your son had to leave your arms once again, was there any clarity that you received that day as to, who your son was going back to? Who are these people? Do they have good intentions? I mean, obviously we want you to get your son back. I'm just saying, like, currently, is he at least around a family that has his best interest in mind until you get him back? Or is this one of those horror stories where he's possibly being abused? Do you know the state of your child and what his situation is?
Yeah. So when I arrived, he had like an abrasion on the left side of his head. But I was ordered that I wasn't allowed to have any sort of device at all. So I couldn't take a picture of my son, which was very challenging, seeing that he had changed a lot since he was 78 days old, and now being 16 months old. But as far as there is no DCPS or DSF or no involvement because there's no charges.
Right.
So, the fact that this couple has taken in the matters in their own hands to change his name, his birth certificate, his social security card, and actually take him over state lines in an airplane, and then fully vaccinate him against his mother, which they were aware of. But I mean, their intention was from the beginning to keep him, which, you know, they publicized themselves on Facebook post. They work together in the community. They do know the law enforcement and the judicial officers of the court, which has been all documented. There's nothing. I mean, I'm being completely transparent because I have it all, and
Right.
I can prove what I'm saying. So the thing is, Joe, when you bar attorneys and different officials have they have privileges, right? But what they don't have is immunity. They think they do, and that's because they believe they're above God's law. But that's just not how it works. And so we, the people, know this. And so we testify to it, because why? It's the truth. And that is what's going to set us free. The retaliation is real. As you can tell, I'm nervous for many different reasons. They have access all the way down to the motels, to where you are located. These things are very real, very much happening right now in our country. There's a lot of parents that have fear for themselves and for their children, but we won't stop.
Right. And when they use that fear to keep people silent, and that's why it's so important that we're speaking up. And it's beautiful that you're willing to do this for a lot of reasons. You know, if you don't stand up for your own child, and who else is going to? So that leads me to what is, since the first interview, and that now the word's getting out in this community that is learning about you and your mission and your goal. What has that been like? What's that support been like? What are those mama bears doing when they're hearing this, and they're, you know, there's not just your story, there's other stories, and maybe people are starting to connect the dots and see, like, what on earth is going on here? What has that been like with the people either reaching out to you, or update us on that, and what that's been like for you to at least get your voice out there initially, and now we'll see what the ripple effect is of this interview as well.
Yes, and I appreciate that, because it leads into where my goal is right now. We did not receive from the Supreme Court a response from the opposing counsel on these matters, and so we are up for review right now, the whole case. So out of the 3rd District into the Supreme Court. With that, there's an email that with our last interview, and the docket number, and just the information of, hey, these things are happening. And so as mothers, as fathers, you know, grandparents, we the people, what can we do? And there has been, you know, I think over a dozen at this point, emails, which I'm greatly appreciative of, that have reached out and shared their concern of, you know, our parental rights, our birthrights, our right to life. I mean, let's strip it all the way down to what we're actually talking about. I believe it's made an impact, and I believe it can make even more of an impact the more we unite together.
Absolutely.
And you know, if you don't, if those of you out there don't have a case, I thank God you don't. But if you know someone that does have a case, stand next to them. Just stand next to them, support them, encourage them, and do what you can do. Because yeah, there's a lot of things that we can't do sometimes, but the things that we can do, we do it. And so the emails that are coming from the people to the Supreme Court to say, hey, we are aware, and we are aware this is going on all around our country, and it is not acceptable, and this needs to be corrected now. It makes a difference, and I am in this case actively, and so all those emails, I am logging them, and I am putting them right back on the record as our voice. So if if you send something, know that your name, your email, your concerns are going on a file that's been filed at the Supreme Court, which holds the Constitution, because I did put that on the record. The Declaration of Independence, it's on the record. Our unalienable rights, it's on the record. And it's standing behind this baby boy that has been taken unlawfully. And I appreciate you.
Absolutely. You know what I'll do? I'm going to share the screen because it lets people know. This is the email that you just sent me, and so I'm just going to read this for everybody. So because sometimes, and my apologies, sometimes we share this. For some reason, the Facebook's not working as of late. I must have done something once again on Facebook to have them block my account and putting up new posts. But this is on Rumble, both of our X channel, our YouTube channel, and our YouTube backup. And I'm just going to read this because sometimes people are hearing impaired and they may not be able to, see exactly what's being said. So here it is. Urgent call to action, true patriots. Please send a simple email to help Brittany and her son. This is my email, urgent. This message is from We the People. You have two docket numbers, S-26-0132 and S-26-0136 for this case where a child's life is endangered. He at 16 months is extremely overweight, lethargic, labored breathing, bruises on his head with no explanation, and cat hair in his mouth. Please take emergency action to remove this child from the abuse of the terminated guardians that are holding him hostage and return him to his mother where he rightfully belongs. So you are not complicit in this matter. Thanks for your time and immediate attention for the safety of this child. Please take action and be a good Samaritan. Are you willing to stand with Brittany? Let's get thousands of emails sent to them. Share everywhere. Send your email to scclerks@courts.state.wy.us. That's scclerks@courts.state.wy.us, and cc to selfempowermenttime@gmail.com. And that's all up there for you guys to go over and make sure that you're sending it to the right email addresses. So I'll stop sharing that for now.
Yes, and I appreciate the patriot that, and I won't say her name, but I just appreciate her putting that together and sending it out. As I'm going back and forth from the library to the court, to the post office, to back to my hotel room, I have been fortunate to have, a few good patriots that are trying to spread the message, and us all have a call of action in some actual way, and so I appreciate her.
Absolutely. Well, I know we want to keep this somewhat short because it's more spreadable, if you will, if people don't see like a 2-hour interview. Is there anything that we've left out, Brittany, or anything else you want to reiterate, just how people can support you and what you need? Please, the floor is yours to use this as a tool. And also, folks, please share this. Please get this out to anyone that you believe may be of value in knowing this information and helping Brittany. Like I've said, we're very shadow banned on TruthStream because, as Brittany was saying earlier, anyone that stands for children, there's so many hurdles and roadblocks, and that's because they are the most precious thing on the planet, and they're being taken advantage of by so many nefarious beings. And we won't go into the details on what's being done. I mean, I think people can research that on their own. We've done plenty of interviews on that subject matter. But Brittany, please, the floor is yours.
Wow. So I'll just leave it with this because it was just what was on my heart this morning and I wrote it down. So in Luke 12, 2-3, Jesus said, there is nothing canceled. There is nothing concealed that will not be disclosed, or hidden that will not be made known. In Mark, it says, for whatever is hidden is meant to be disclosed. In Genesis, it says, you intended to harm me, but God is intending to use it for good. So the names change, the kingdoms change, the technology changes, the generations change, but the underlying questions remain similar. Will people choose truth or deception? Will we choose love or domination? Will we choose faith or fear? Will we seek God or seek to become over God? Faith is not a theory, it is an experience. It is a testimony. We each have a unique story from our experiences with God. Job said, my ears have heard of you, but now my eyes have seen you. I believe we are about to see God on a level that is undeniable. And I believe his children will be set free. I believe there was always a plan, and we each have a part. And I'm grateful to be here and to just share my little story. And if anyone feels led to send an email and help in any way, thank you. And if you're near someone who's going through something like this, even if you don't understand it, who really does? All this was designed to destroy. Be there for them, encourage them, build them up, and know that the truth is going to be revealed. The record will be straight. And I believe we're in that countdown now. And I appreciate you, Joe, having me.
Absolutely. I'm just going to read a couple of these comments. You may know who these people are. This is Ferndale 96. Sweetie, you will get your son back. God has you, and baby boy, love you. And follows it up with, sweetie, I'm waiting and so proud of you, and I'm anxious for you to come back home with your baby. Love you. And this is from Amy, the one who connected both of us. Thank you again, Amy, for making this happen. Sometimes people don't know their role in what's going on in the world. And sometimes all it is an introduction that can help change a life. And that's the beautiful thing about this interview. So Amy, thank you. She says, we love you, Brittany. Keep the faith. So you got a team out there. You've got people out there that care, and you represent so many more than we even realize. And so thank you for this community, for helping in situations such as this. So with that, Brittany, you have our prayers, and we all want the best for you and your son. And I have a good sense that that's what's coming. So beautiful. All right. Well, guys, there's her email. It's been up there most of the show. Britter Critter, BRITRCRITR0213 at proton.me. And with that, and if you missed anything from the previous screen share that I did with the documentation, please, Brittany will answer all that in an email as well. And she's at the ready with that. So that being said, I will just put up this thumbnail one more time that lets people know a little bit more about the case, and roll the outro. And Brittany, keep us updated. We'll probably do a show every 4 to 6 weeks till we have some really good news. That sound good?
That sounds great. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. It's an honor. Absolutely. All right, everybody. Take care. God bless. And I'm going to roll the outro. There's the information there. You can pause the screen if you want to dig more into that. And with that, take care.
I have known for some time something about the world ain't right. A darkness lives in plain sight, in the ether. Adjust your eyes. There are those that have no clue. You give them hints, they just stare